Alright everyone, we start off today talking about the now infamous incident with the Covington Catholic High School students. It was a meet-up between sort of the March for Life remnants that are lingering on there. I guess these students were there, and then the Indigenous Peoples Day thing. By the way, analyzing this as someone who doesn't really care about the March for Life, I'm pro-choice, but when I'm looking at footage of these incidents, I'm not seeing any antagonism, mockery, or problems with what the students are doing. Like, they don't do... One of them, literally, he's getting, like, called, like, Hitler incarnate. He was literally just standing there. What ended up happening, the basic timeline is this. According to what I'm seeing on multiple pieces of footage of this same incident, I'm not seeing any mockery on the students' behalf. I'm not sure how anyone's getting that from what they're seeing here. What appears to have happened is that some students from a Catholic high school, all-boys high school, were there for the March for Life thing. They were just sort of standing there and I don't know, probably just standing there for hours. You know, school trip, real exciting. You know, take the bus in, you stand there for a while and leave. Wonderful. Then some people from the Indigenous Peoples March, 3 of them, including one with the drum, you know, sort of chanting, approached them. And I guess the students briefly, like, sort of danced around to the beat, and I guess this is what they're assuming is mockery, because they're wearing MAGA hats, and I'm thinking to myself, if somebody comes up to me and starts, like, drumming and stuff, yeah, okay, well, if it's catchy at all, maybe you bob your head a little. That doesn't mean that you're fucking mocking them just because you happen to be white and this other person is indigenous, and whatever the fuck that means. I was born on this continent, too, so I'm not sure what they're fucking talking about. Oh, yeah, your ancestors came across a glacier instead of a ship. That makes you better than me. No, I suck my dick. No, it doesn't. And one of these students, literally, he does nothing. As in, literally nothing. He stands there, he barely blinking. He's just sort of got his poker face on, and he's staring at this person with the drum, and somehow this is considered bad or intimidating. It was spun by the lamestream media as though this student got up in the face of this individual to intimidate him. It's the opposite. The dude with the drum literally comes up within 6 inches of his face and starts chanting at him. Now, that's not really intimidating either, but to say that these students are doing anything wrong, even more to call for their expulsion, like some people are, well, they should be expelled from this school. We need to make sure that action is taken. Action for what? What did they do? They didn't do anything. In the case of the one student you're saying was intimidating this dude, he did less than nothing. All he did was stand there, and what was he supposed to do? Let me ask you this. Like, you're white or whatever, white male, so obviously wrong. You stand there, somebody comes up within 6 inches of you and starts beating a drum in your face. What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to take your pants off and invite them inside, so to speak, like some of these people probably would want to do? What are you supposed to turn around and walk away? Are you supposed to run screaming and say, oh my god, I apologize for my heritage or something? Because it happens to be the Indigenous Peoples Day March. They were part of that movement. They were part of a separate activistic thing going on at the same time. Again, I'm pro-choice, so I mean, I don't really care about the March for Life sort of bullshit, but I mean at the same time I don't care about Indigenous Peoples Day because it's a farce. It's a bunch of bullshit. To say that these students did anything wrong, that's so dumb. What they did wrong, they wore their MAGA hats in a threatening manner. They stood there in a threatening manner. They just looked threatening. You know why? What it's really about? They were white and male. That's why it's assumed that they were the ones at fault for a non-confrontation. In fact, and there's only one piece there. One piece of footage shows this. Gab tweeted this out. The only thing I can tell that was said during the entire ordeal, the entire event, that was antagonistic or bigoted in nature was said by one of the Native American individuals saying, you basically go back to Europe, this is not your land, which is a quote. That sounds bigoted to me. I'm sure that people on the left that are complaining about the MAGA hat wearing students don't think so, but that's bigoted. Standing there and staring at someone who has approached you is not intimidating, it's not antagonistic. In fact, it's exactly how you should respond, for your own legal reasons. You don't attack the person, you can't push them away, you turn around, you're offering them a free swipe at the back of your head or something. No, you fucking stand your ground. What else could he have done in this scenario? What was he supposed to do? Break down crying? Crying tears of shame or something like that? No, I stand with these students completely. Until someone can show me a piece of footage that shows any of them actually attempting to be antagonistic or mocking anyone, I don't give a care. And I really don't care anyway. Let's say a couple of these students said, ah, ha, ha, build the wall. Who fucking cares? What, they don't have free speech too? They're there at an activistic sort of event. Maybe that's what they believe in. Maybe they don't really care. You don't know anything about these people's beliefs. And some of these people are minors. They're probably like 16, 17 years old. So what, you want to get them expelled? Okay, you want to try to ruin their life for the rest of their life because they stood there the wrong way. It's really about the fact that they wore MAGA hats and they're male and white and stuff. That's really what this is about. And it's a fucking farce. And it's also a farce. There are links in the description. First, it's to a post, one of the people from Gizmodo actually was trying to dox this student that was just standing there trying to get their personal information. I'm thinking to myself, that's not a good legal idea, and I think that Gizmodo should probably be contacted by us. Yes, I think that we should probably email them and let them know what's going on with one of their staff writers. Hey, one of your writers had to take a tweet down because they were advocating attempting to dox someone, and then you've got this a moron and Wheeler Walker Jr. or something. I think he's more or less a satirist anyway, which is, that's okay. Okay, I can understand. Maybe this was meant to be humorous. Calling for credible threat of violence and calling for open violence are not protected under the First Amendment. Especially not when you're saying, oh, punch a high schooler in the nads. What a fucking brave person you are. It's no wonder that all of the items on your web store, which could be contacted too, are out of stock, and I doubt it's because they sold well. I'm going to stand with the high schoolers here unless I can see actual example of them having done something wrong. The only example I have of any antagonistic language or act during the entire course of events is one of the indigenous people, so-called, saying go back to Europe. That is the only time that I can see in having reviewed 3 separate instances of the same footage, the only instance I can see in which anyone did something objectively antagonistic. Dancing around to a drum beat for 10 seconds is not a form of violence. It's not bigoted. It's not antagonistic. The fact that the media immediately jumped down their throats and started posting their fake viral tabloid sputum bullshit with regards to this story is probably the worst example of sensationalist hackery that I've seen in the legacy media in years. This beats out BuzzFeed by far. This is a group of high schoolers that simply stood there. And these people need to be held to account at some point. I suggest that these students and their families, if any disciplinary action is issued, should probably lawyer up. And they should probably consider contacting Gizmodo's legal team too to find out what the fuck is happening. They should absolutely do that. These people need to be... If you want to call yourself a journalist, have some degree of standards. Actually review the footage before you rush out a story about the evil Nazi kids that tried to beat down the celebrated Native American veteran. That never happened! It's literally fake! No wonder people don't fucking trust you, and then you want to blame people like me and say that we're a problem or something. No, you've been the problem for decades and decades. You lie constantly. It's sensationalist tabloid BS. That's about all. Peace out.